Hello and welcome to Stretford Paddock. This is Transfers Live. I'm joined by Stephen Howson. Since we last did a video together, United have been linked with all of those players. Not even joking, and all by relatively reliable journalists.
Where does he play?
Him in the middle?
In the middle.
Well, he's the one who's been looking for him, you see.
Right, okay.
All of them. I mean, some of them have dropped out now. It looks like Rabiot's not going to happen. Some look less likely than others. But we've been linked to every one of those in 48 hours, Steve.
There's two things on the cards there then.
Go on.
Journalists don't have a fucking clue.
Possible.
Or we're genuinely... Yeah. Joe, you're not a single man at the moment.
I'm not.
But we've all been in that instance where it's like, ring them birds again, lad.
Do you think John Murtaugh?
Do you think it's 5 to 3 in the morning? Yeah.
Drunk on a Saturday night, going, I'll send a few feelers out.
I think that's exactly what we're doing. I think that's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah.
Whose number have I got? I got João Felix's agent. Just texting me you up.
Go on then. We've got a few stories. The Casemiro one's the main one. We've seen some big updates on that today, coming from the BBC and coming from the Athletic. So we'll get into that in a minute. There's also an Anthony update. We're back in for him now.
Third line, top paragraph.
1, 2, 3. The Athletic understands.
I love that line.
It's nice, isn't it? It's a sense of warmth that you don't get with many other sources these days. Let's go straight into that.
When it says the Athletic understands, I go, oh. Whereas, I don't know, let's just throw a name out there, Neil Custis, right? If I read something along the lines of, because I don't actually even know what he writes, because I think it's usually, let's think of the non-libelous way of saying this.
Not up your street.
Yeah, it's not on my street, let's say that.
Yeah.
Some might suggest written in excrement on walls. I wouldn't do that to him.
No, you wouldn't say that. This is, according to The Athletic, 18 minutes ago. Casemiro transfer is the main focus for Man United before the window shuts. Man United's key focus before the summer transfer window closes is signing the Real Madrid midfielder Casemiro, and a deal between the two clubs is progressing. That is something, isn't it? Like, this is the sort of deal where you go, no chance. And then, slowly, it looks as though we're moving closer to it.
They're happened like this last year.
Yeah.
But you go, really? Nah.
Apparently, so it says, it's thought Casemiro has given positive indications of his desire to join United, who are willing to make the 30-year-old one of their top earners. Just skipping ahead slightly, reports that he stands to double his salary at Old Trafford, however, are thought to be wide of the mark. There was some mention that he wanted 10 million quid after tax, which, as you rightly pointed out, is somewhere around £380,000 a week, which would put him, I think, just behind Ronaldo and at level with Sancho and De Gea.
No, and what possible bad things could come out from giving a 30-year-old a redonkulous contract?
Yeah. Do you think he'd be good for United? Do you think? Yeah, start with that. Do you like him?
I don't think it's very straightforward. Some people are going to go, is he better than McTominay? Yeah, he is, yeah. Like, there's probably no one going to argue with that.
Yeah.
So on that basis, yeah, he's an amazing signing. On the basis of, why are we linked with this profile of player? Right. This is what worries me. Why is it Pulisic on loan? Why is it him? Where's our... why aren't we buying the Tchouaménis? Like, that's the signings I want us to make. Casemiro's going to be here 3 years max, right? And then fuck off.
Yeah.
This is buying Matic again.
Yeah. But is it not?
His best years are probably behind him. So why are we buying people on a downward slope? Because people's downward slopes don't all do it at the same degree. Some go very fast. Some are a bit more gradual. Yeah. Why aren't we trying to find someone that's the next Casemiro 6 years ago?
Well, did we not try that with De Jong and basically get told to fuck off?
Was he the only one?
I don't know. It seems like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, maybe we did. Maybe we did try and get him. But again, is he the only one? No. Where's us going for the likes of Sangare maybe or someone like that? There's so many options out there that I think if you added in wages and transfer fee, probably a better option, and they'd have resale value. So from a business perspective, I don't really understand it. I think there's a lot of risk in signing 30-year-olds.
Yeah.
And there's too many been coming through the door at United.
Yeah. And we've signed we've signed 30-year-olds in the past that, Robin van Persie is a great example. He had one brilliant season, and he was enough to top up a team that had just lost Premier League by 1 point.
True.
But he wouldn't be enough to take this team from sixth to, well, certainly not first, but probably not even second. We need a player that's going to be here in 3 years, hitting their peak then, because that's probably the path, best case scenario for us to start challenging for the big trophies. Yeah. It's weird bringing in 30-year-olds into a team that's just finished sixth, isn't it?
Yeah, if you're talking about freshening a team up, you don't do it with not fresh ingredients.
I wonder if...
Could we put this TV back on, please?
What's the thinking? What is the thinking then? He's just very good. He's the best player now that we can possibly get. Do you think that's what it is?
If you want my honest opinion on what the thinking is, I don't think there is any thinking. I think it's literally, I'm not going home alone.
Yeah.
Get me someone.
How much of it do you think they're worried about the protests and the backlash? Because all these rumours coming out that felt like a PR or a publicity sort of thing of going, we're going to sign players before the Liverpool game. That felt like them going, don't get mad yet. Don't call the game off yet. Don't do what you did last time.
Filling up the petrol bombs.
Yeah, exactly. Don't do that yet. We're going to get some players signed. And then there was rumours yesterday as well of United want 5 players. I think it was, I can't remember who it was now, but it was someone from the Telegraph, so relatively reliable, saying we want a right back, 2 midfielders, a striker, and a winger. Do you think a lot of this is just a sort of publicity thing to get United fans off the back a little bit? Or do you think we genuinely think we're going to get 5 players?
There's probably publicity in that. If we get 5 players before the Liverpool game, I'll go to the Liverpool game with my dick out. Right? Yeah. How about
that? Is that a good thing for people, do you think?
It's not a bad thing, is it?
Not for you,
What's
maybe.
the possible negatives of that?
Arrests? People being scarred for life?
No. You tell people, we just sign 5 players, dick out, and they'll be like, that's the rules. Yeah, that's the rules.
Yeah, apparently the salary is the main thing that's... this is according to Revelo, which again... Who are they? Florentino Casemiro met yesterday, was told that he has earned the right to decide if he wants to leave. The player is inclined to accept the proposal from Manchester United. The clubs are set to meet at a price point of around 70 million. The only remaining hurdle is to specify his salary.
Excuse me, are we paying 70 million for a 30-year-old?
70 million euros.
Oh, right.
60 million quid. Bad idea?
Yeah.
But what if you get a Fernandinho or a Modric out of him, where he's still world class at 35?
I don't think you will.
Yeah.
Maybe it looks like a good idea then, but like 60 million on a 30-year-old on $500,000-ish a week. Fuck me.
It's not necessarily learning from your lessons, is it?
No. If we wanted to go in a completely different direction, like that whole, can we teach an old dog new tricks? Can we get a player that's actually, pretty set in his ways, you would imagine, by 30, to now learn a whole new system and start playing it under Ten Hag. I didn't realise it was so much. I thought it was like 20 mil.
Yeah.
If it's a Van Persie kind of level of fee, sweet. 60 million. We still need a right back. Yeah. We still need, I don't know, is he playing up front?
I don't think he'll be playing up front, no.
Do you know what I mean? So, sweet, we got Casemiro in. That sorts out McTominay issue. Who's up front? Cristiano Ronaldo's gone.
Yeah.
And Tony Marshall's injured. So...
We still don't really have
I
anyone
did see
to pick
Charlie
the ball
McNeil in training.
Did you? We don't have anyone to pick the ball up off the defence either still, do we, really?
No.
Could you play Casemiro and Eriksen? Casemiro's defensive stats are excellent.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
He's very good. And he's good on the ball.
He was probably the best
midfielder
midfielder in the world, central defensive midfielder in the world 4 or 5 years ago, right? And he's won a lot.
Yeah.
So he's got that level of experience coming in. And he'll have played with Varane, so you would assume there's some sort of relationship with them in terms of playing out. But, man, 60 million for him when we need surgery in so many different places at 30. Even at 27, I'd have been like, okay.
Yeah.
30, though.
It's not a great age, is it?
Just have a quick Google of his injury record. I don't think it's terrible.
It's incredible. I think he's missed 18 games in 8 years.
That's not bad.
That's very good. Yeah, he's played 40 games or more for all of the last 6 seasons in a row, I think. He's literally missed a consistency. I'll get it up. But, yeah, it's pretty excellent. So that is one thing where you go, okay, you can generally rely on him in terms of fitness. So, yeah, here's his injury record. Look at that. That's since 14-15. He's missed like 20 games or something.
He had one where he was out for 2 months and missed 13 games.
Yeah.
What was that?
13 games. That was a fibular shaft fractures. You ever fractured your shaft?
No.
He has. But yeah, other than
not my
that,
banjo though, but
Have you? Bloody hell. Right. Should we talk a bit about the ownership stuff? We'll come back to some transfers in a minute because we've got Anthony. Apparently, according to BBC, just on the final bit of the Casemiro stuff, while the De Jong door remains open, it's improbable that he would arrive in addition to Casemiro. So this would be instead of De Jong, which less appealing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thoughts on the Glazers putting up a portion of Man United for sale, and thoughts to the fact that it looks like it's going to be Apollo Global Management Incorporated that is buying it and not Jim Radcliffe?
So there's a lot came out in the last sort of 48 hours, hasn't there?
Yeah.
In terms of there was a willingness to let a minor stake out, which I'm assuming is the A-class shares. That mean essentially fuck all. There's news Jim Radcliffe is in the mixer. Jim Radcliffe's been in the mixer, I think, since 2019.
Right.
Sniffing, going, if this ever comes available, gives a shout kind of affair.
Yeah.
So no surprises whatsoever to see. I mean, he was literally asked about it in May when the Chelsea bid failed.
Yeah.
And he said, I can understand why there's calls for me to buy Manchester United, but as it stands, Manchester United aren't for sale.
Yeah.
Which sort of alludes like that'll change if they are. Yeah. When we did all them lives in here for the European Super League, if you remember, there was some talk there of that could be the failure of that could end up being the thing that sees them off. It seemed to me that we were a driver in that. It seemed to me that that was something that they'd sort of hedged their bets on. Similar to Barcelona.
Yeah.
That we'd hedged our bets a little bit on this being something that they could use to put revenue up. Because towards the back end of last season, we took a loan out to pay bills, mate.
Mm. But whilst, like, if your mate does that, you start going, do you need a bit of help? The way that loans and debt and interest works for big companies at this level isn't always quite the way it appears, is it? Sometimes think like there are a lot of football clubs don't usually do it, but the fact that United are in debt perpetually, a lot of businesses do that. That's a business thing to do, not a football thing to do.
Small scale, yeah, debt. Yeah. Like I would argue Tottenham's debt is good.
Yeah.
What have they got out of it? Shiny new stadium, that's probably the best one in the country, right? Yeah. So is that a positive? Yes.
Yeah.
Did we go into debt to buy players like Barcelona did?
No.
No. Why are we in debt?
Because our owners didn't have any money to buy us.
Yeah.
So
what is the net positive for Manchester United Football Club with them owning us and us being in debt? The club literally has paid 1.6 billion in the last 17 years for the privilege of having them own us.
Yeah.
There is no, like, if we'd have gone, yeah, listen, we're 1.6 billion in debt, but we spent $1 billion extra on players. So that's an extra billion on players, an extra 10 100 million pound players, and we spent 600 million on Old Trafford. You'd be like, I can see all of that cash.
Yeah.
And even though, yeah, that might put us in a bit of a financial squeeze, I can see the benefits of that. Look, there's that 100 million pound midfield.
There's maybe a Premier League or a Champions League.
Yeah.
Or, you know.
And we haven't had that. The stadium's not been invested to since 2004. 2004 is when they actually decided they were doing the filling in the corners of the quadrant. So since they took over, that was completed in 2006. That's the only change to the stadium, bar the fuck around where they fucked around all the disabled fans at the bottom of K-Stand. That's the only change that they've had to the stadium, but that was paid for and decided and contracts sorted prior to them owning the club. So they've literally done fuck all in the grand scheme of things of owning the club. There's now a sort of viewing deck at the back end of the Stretford end. But in 17 years, you look at the preceding 17 years, take it from 1988 to 2005 and look at the transformation that Old Trafford went through from being seating in the top of like 3/4 of the stand, standing at the bottom of North Stand, standing at the bottom of K Stand, entire standing and big open corner in the Stretford end. To I remember, 94, 95, where we had the bowl, where it was all of that one level bowl, and then we had for the 96 Euros, they built North Stand up to take it up to 55,000. Then they had the East and West sort of second tiers going on, and then they filled the corners in. The transformation of Old Trafford in the 17 years that preceded versus the 17 years that we've just had is embarrassing. Mm-hmm. The absolute transformation there, that could have continued. We should be looking at now a 100-plus seater stadium, 100,000-plus seater stadium that's got safe standing, which is now allowed, in the Stretford end, in K-Stand, have it rowdy as fuck
in that time as well, like, Tottenham have got a new stadium. Arsenal have got a new stadium. City have got a new stadium. West Ham have got a new stadium.
Liverpool have spent a lot of money on theirs.
Yeah, and they're literally redeveloping theirs as we speak. Yep. Chelsea were going to do a complete overhaul of Stamford Bridge, which I think got postponed because of the ownership stuff and some financial stuff. But everyone is planning.
Everton are moving into a new one.
Exactly. Everyone is planning or have already made massive upgrades to the stadium or built new ones, except Manchester United in the top 6.
Who were, when they took over, making $250 million profit and buying Varane and Van Nistelrooy and Rooney and Rio and fucking... Like, we were breaking records for transfers and records for profit. Then you see them take over and that profit just starts to go to banks. Mm-hmm. That's it. We've had no benefit of them owning us whatsoever. No. None whatsoever. And not only that, yes, debt works differently for companies, but we've spent... if I said to you, here's my business plan, I'm going to buy something and I'm going to get that thing to pay it off, and after 17 years of owning it, I'll owe pretty much all of that I originally owned, and I'll have paid $2 billion off in the meantime. You'd be like, what's that glue test like? What the fuck are you on about? This is a monumentally shit business plan. Now, if they cash in their chips now and they walk away with $4 billion, you'd have to say on their part, yeah, they've done bloody well.
Because they've not spent their money refinancing that debt. They've literally spent nothing, and they are going to get...
And they've had whatever 100 million in dividends over the last whatever
billion.
Years.
Yeah.
Now, if they walk away, yes, they won.
Yeah.
Us as a football club, what the fuck have we won?
No.
Nothing.
No.
Nothing, because now it makes us almost prohibitively expensive to be owned by somebody else. Yeah. We could have been worth 10 billion if they was half-decent owners. Imagine if they'd have actually been innovative, if they'd have actually put money into the training ground, if they'd have actually put money into things in the community, if they'd have actually bothered their arse to upgrade Old Trafford. If we were sitting on 28 titles and 7 Champions Leagues, and we'd have redeveloped Old Trafford, there's 100k in there every week. Jesus Christ.
And think as well, like, again, what City are doing around there, they've got this new sort of co-op event space arena thing going on. Like, all the land around Old Trafford, which some of which they stupidly allowed to go to making hotel football, which is on their doorstep and they don't even own it. But all of that land around
Tony O'Neill owned that land. That's why Tony's there every day.
Yeah, which is incredible by him. But like, imagine if there was...
Well, do you know why? Do you know what you used to have there?
No.
So you used to have like little market stalls. So the market stalls that you see selling scarves and stuff like that. Well, where hotel football is, previously there was like, there was a couple of, t-shirt and scarf type stalls. One of them was a really cool one. It's not there anymore. And I have no idea if it's still around somewhere else around Old Trafford. I've never seen it since. And it used to just be like crates of old programs. I love that shit.
That's good. That's really good.
Innit?
Yeah.
So there was a guy that used to just have stacks of old programs. Yeah. What an awesome little one. And that was, Tony owned those stalls.
That's great, innit? What a great bit of real estate to have that. But all the rest of it, imagine if the Glazers had have gone...
It was like wasteland at the side of a canal.
Yeah.
And someone's gone out with a tape measure and gone...
Let's squeeze a triangle-shaped
get a fucking hotel in there.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
And then they did.
But they could have been so inventive and creative. Imagine they'd made a stadium for the academy, all that sort of stuff. But imagine that they could have made an arena for gigs and concerts that is owned by the Manchester United or owned by... Like, think of all the stuff they could have done.
Arena for?
What?
Well, Ryan Giggs needed his own arena.
That's a good point. Maybe just to shout. But that's sort of stuff that United have never done anything. We go, fucking hell, that's creative. It's literally the stuff that the other good clubs did 5 years ago, and we're doing it now that no one's really interested in that sort of thing anymore.
Up until 1998, we trained at the Cliff, right? Yeah. And nothing at the Cliff had changed since George Best was fucking jumping over the benches in there, right? Then they moved to Carrington, and all of the buzzwords you heard about Carrington was cutting edge, state of the art, right? They take us over in 2005. When was the last time you heard that about Carrington?
Never. Like, what was it? When Jose was there, he was like, right, sports science stuff, clear that out, put another massage table in. Like, that's all there is, like, you look at other companies like the UFC, for instance, who've got their elite facilities that are literally state of the art, like, rehabilitation pools and like everything you can possibly imagine to manage and measure every metric in the world.
College football teams with better facilities than United by a long way, by the way.
Why don't we have that? Because they just have no interest in it being a football club. They just want to do the least they possibly can. I'm
going to have a cutting edge fucking training facility before United do.
Yeah.
Under this ownership.
Well, I heard you've got a director of football that's got more experience than ours.
Facts.
Yeah. That's mad, isn't it?
And people are sitting there going, no facts.
Yeah.
Like literally, so I got Bill's the director of football at my glorified pub team. And he's 63, I think, now.
Yeah.
He's coached up and down all non-league, but he was also the academy director at Crewe.
Yeah.
And he's worked for City, and he's worked for Morecambe. He was Morecambe's chief scout till about a year ago. And like this is a seriously like qualified guy.
Yeah.
And connected guy. We're looking at taking players on loan.
Mad. Let's move on to Anthony then.
Yeah, and United have got what?
Someone who used to work at the FA for a bit. But don't worry about that. Man United want Anthony again. Steve.
Do we?
Yeah, Romano said Man United have planned to poach Anthony again before the end of the window. Deal will be considered more than difficult, which what does that even mean? Ajax want to keep him, but United will try again. And Darmesh from Sky, who's, as far as Sky's concerned, pretty reliable, saying that United are back in for the forward Anthony. It's been described
and his
as a
price
massive
gone
offer.
down.
There were some rumours of 67 million quid. Is what I saw today.
It's a bit more sensible. It's still giddy though, isn't it?
It is. Do you? What are your thoughts on Anthony? Because interestingly with you, Jay's more of the I think he's good, but I don't think we'll get him. You're more of the I think we'll get him, but I don't think he's good. Like you don't like Casemiro. What do you make of Anthony?
I'm unsure.
Yeah,
he's definitely a skillful player. I think he's probably got a much higher ceiling than what we've already got.
Yeah.
I don't know, because it's a position that I go, okay, we probably need a bit of reinforcement in. I think we need so much that I'm almost like, I don't want to blow my budget all on one. And that's what worries me about Casemiro was 70 million. Like, does Casemiro disappear now if we get Anthony? I don't feel like we're doing 2 70 million deals before the end of this window.
If we did, would you be happy with those two being then?
Not my dick out, but maybe the balls.
If you got, let's say this ended up being a 200 million quid transfer window, and we've got...
But it was the minimum that we needed, though,
Well,
wasn't
exactly,
it?
yeah. But then
so you can't get giddy. You go, okay.
No, you can't get giddy, but you can kind of go, oh, I didn't think we'd do that. If we got Casemiro for 60 million quid, Anthony for 65 million quid, what's that put us up to? 130, 180 with Martinez. And then you got, Mooney, a £10 million right back. Then we got a sort of a 15 million quid centre back backup option. And then some striker.
Why are we buying backup options? Why is Axel Tuanzebe getting launched off somewhere? Why aren't you giving Ted and Mengi a chance to be that backup guy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it feels like we're run without anyone having a conversation about anything. You can go, like, why was they talking about ripping Cristiano Ronaldo's contract up and no one's even fucking looked at Phil Jones's file? Like, if you're ripping up contracts, if that's a thing we're going to try and do now, right?
Yeah.
If you go, right, okay, pay you off, fuck off, and close the chapter, why has no one called Phil Jones in for a HR meeting?
Something I will say, though, is on the Casemiro being 30 thing and talk about looking forward to when we will hopefully be successful again, right? I think sometimes we get trapped in this thing of like, everyone that's here now has to have the longevity to still be here and at their peak when we're eventually good again. Sometimes you need players who are at their peak now to get you there. And then you've got a bit more pulling power. Then we can replace Casemiro with the next Tchouaméni rather than replacing him with
but
the
you're
next
spending
Rabiot.
70 million on him.
You are.
If he was a free transfer or 10, 20 million, as a bridging player, that makes sense. But when you blow 70 million on him, you kind of you're literally investing into that guy, saying you're going to do X, Y, and Z.
Do you think there are £20 million players that can get United to the precipice of success again? Or do we have to waste a little bit of money?
Undoubtedly.
You think there
Undoubtedly is, yeah. If you ask me, put me on the spot now. I'm
not saying name them,
I'm not going to be answering. But when you look at some of the names that we've been linked with in terms of strikers for 25, 30 million euros, some of them, if you buy 3 of them, 2 of them might end up being shit. But one of them is going to end up being a Berbatov or an Aguero or someone that's sticks around in the Premier League for 10 years, not necessarily always at United, but is going to be that good.
But the thing is, City spent, 40 million quid on Aguero? 35, 40 million quid?
It was a lot of money when they signed him, but he was young when he was 21.
He was, but that's the equivalent of 80, 90, 100 now, isn't it?
The resale value.
Yeah.
And he was there, 10 years?
Yeah.
So they got their money's worth. It's like when we spent 30 on Rio and it was possibly a British record at the time. People lost their shit.
I think it was still United's highest ever overall turnover to single player transfer ratio.
Can't
ever.
be.
What? Who's higher?
Dennis Law. He was like 50%.
Maybe in the Premier League era then, sorry. I think he was like 25% of our overall earnings.
I know Rio, Brian Robson and Dennis Law, 3 pretty good hits there, were somewhere in the region of 40 to 50% of our turnover for a year.
That's
when
insane.
we signed them. But yeah, Brian Robson, you got a decade out of. Dennis Law, you just less than, I think, a decade.
Still arguably United's greatest ever goal scorer.
Also won a Ballon d'Or when he was here.
Yeah.
Including everything else. And then, obviously Rio, captain the night we won the Champions League, and we got 12 years out of him.
Yeah, 6 Premier League titles.
Yeah.
So, yeah, worked out.
Yeah, and then now you're looking at, like, I don't necessarily agree with spending 70 million on a 30-year-old. Like, Tchouaméni, clearly, I brought him up a couple of times, and he obviously wasn't interested in coming to us. But you look at what Real Madrid just done. They've just refreshed their whole shit.
Yeah.
And we're buying their cast-offs for what they've reinforced there.
Especially when we've just bought one last year.
Yeah.
And it's not really worked out so far. Interestingly, like you said, they got, I can't remember his name, Camavinga last year, Tchouaméni this year. I think they've spent a shitload on them both. But
totally brand new, shiny, 2022 model midfield.
In those substitute appearances in the Champions League as well.
So now you back that guy to start.
Yeah.
There you go. You've earned it.
Yeah.
Well done. And he'll have the confidence, obviously being a European Cup winner as well, to go and kick in. You're going to have Tchouaméni alongside him. Like, they had an aging midfield. One of the best midfields of all time, by the way.
Yeah. Kroos,
Modric, and Casemiro. Yeah. One of the greatest midfield threes of all time. But you're buying Javi at 35. Is that what we're doing? Are we trying to replicate that? That's not a good idea. Find your fucking own.
Yeah.
Find your own version of that.
Interestingly, of all the players that, the season before last when Chelsea spent 250 million, of all the players that they bought in that time, I would say the one that had the biggest impact was 35-year-old Silva.
Yeah, prove me wrong, because I was like, there's not a prayer he's going to work. Not a fucking chance.
He's still one of their best players, and he's about to turn 37.
After just having 4 years off fucking about in Paris, is he going to be any good whatsoever?
He's been unreal.
Now, have you seen him when he plays in a 2, though? Not so good, but in a 3, he's been flawless.
He dominated against us, didn't he? Right, let's move on to Cunha. First of all, your thoughts on him, defensive striker. You sort of Roberto Firmino mould, not as skillful, not the same player at all, but basically gets more tackles than goals.
I can't remember. I was looking on FB Ref yesterday, looking where he lines up with statistically, and it ain't good.
No. He just doesn't score enough goals, does he?
He doesn't create, and he doesn't score, and he doesn't shoot.
But my word, can he press?
Yeah. This is a signing Nottingham Forest make, and he keeps them up.
Well, luckily, we're not after him now, because we rang up Atletico Madrid, offering him €50 million, and they said no. For a guy that averages 7 goals a season.
Like, you're buying cast-offs from Real Madrid and you're buying fourth-choice strikers. Like, I was digging Arsenal out for buying the cast-offs from Manchester City. For some reason, everyone's got a massive blind spot on this.
Yeah.
They've literally bought Luis Zaha and Phil Neville, right, is what they've done.
But the difference is, like I said before, that won't be enough to make them overlap City or overtake City. It might be enough to make them catch United and be consistently in the top 4 hunt.
Gabriel Jesus will not score 20 goals.
Your Steve's big prediction. All comps or Prem?
Definitely not Prem. 100% not Prem. And I think he'll struggle all comps.
Okay.
Unless they go on a mad run in one of the cup competitions, which they could do, because they do have ability in them. But I think Arsenal, they'll probably end up beating us in a couple of weeks, right? But I think...
Well, that doesn't mean out these days, does it?
Do you know when they crumble?
Yeah.
October.
Yeah.
Europa League. That's when they're fucked. Yeah. Because Zinchenko's never had to do that. What, two games in a week? I don't fucking think so. And actually, Tierney was not the weak link in that team. I think it was a mad buy. In fact, if they start playing Zinchenko centre mid, it's probably a good move. He's better than the fucking rest of the centre mids that they've got. But he's not a better left back than Tierney.
Let's move on. 2 words for you. Asimir Begovic. We are...
No, we're not.
Yes, we are, Steve.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are. Telegraph, Mike McGrath, genuinely reliable journalist. Man United have targeted Everton goalkeeper Asimir Begovic in their search for Ten Hag's number 2. 35-year-old is seen as a perfect backup with his high level of Premier League experience. Tom Heaton is seen as a third choice. How much better is Asimir Begovic than Tom Heaton?
I don't even think he is.
That's what I mean.
Might have to throw him a text. I'm like, who have you pissed off? Why are they constantly trying to find a backup for you?
I don't know. Like, Asimir Begovic was decent at Stoke 8 years ago. Do you want him?
No.
Okay. Good.
I want Tom to be our backup.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, in terms of what you require from a back, I mean, the guy was in the England squad for the World Cup.
Yeah. I think we could get someone that would be more likely to challenge De Gea for 10 million quid than getting another backup.
Yeah, this is where you go and get your footy manager head on and go and find your Guillermo Okocho or your
Where's the
Igor
23-year-old who's at Fiorentina?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Get that player.
Yeah, there's a kid in the second division of Sweden that's flying as a goalkeeper, and he always turns out to be Ballon d'Or winner on Footy Manager. Just go buy him.
Yeah.
Let's see what he's like.
He was a central midfielder until last year, and now he can just save everything, and he can't claim anything, but my God, can he pass? That's what we need. Anyway, apparently there's been a big update from Fabrizio Romano, so we're just gonna rattle through some of these players. Rabiot, deal collapsed. Happy?
Yeah.
You weren't a big fan, were you?
No.
I thought he was all right as your secondary. If you get Casemiro, De Jong, and Rabiot, I thought, I can see that. We need players. I don't think he's a bad player.
McTominay's ability with Pogba's problems.
Oh, you're saying that's a bad thing? I thought that was like, that's what his mum said to Murtagh. Hey.
She might have done.
McTominay's ability, Pogba's problems. Sign him up.
I'm going to be a pain in
and
your
John
ass.
Murtagh went, love it. But that's not happened now because he wanted, apparently...
Got a weekend in Turin, no?
Nice of him. He's been to Barca now. He's been to Italy. Couple of lovely holidays.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's like an influencer.
Who needs to go next? Riga.
Yeah.
Somewhere like that. Let's go find that goalkeeper. How much does he cost? Do you know what I want to hear? United have signed an up-and-coming player for 30 grand.
Yeah, not even that. We just gave someone like some old chairs from a bit of the stadium that isn't there anymore.
Oh, nice.
Do you know what I mean? One of them things. A square of turf from the old Trafford's pitch before Louis van Gaal ripped it up.
Joe, the grass in my nana's garden.
No, but I can comprehend it as a you know.
Old Trafford grass from 1973.
Is it? How is it nice?
Not really.
She let it go.
But yeah, it's just, it's one of them, and you just don't ever really realise.
She not got what it takes to be a groundsman then, did
I
you?
wouldn't have thought so. Yeah, my dad and my uncle basically just rolled up a load of turf and then just took it home. Joined they invaded the pitch. I think it was against Rangers in a pre-season friendly in 1973. Went off like fuck.
I love that.
Stole
I like to think they measured it out first. They knew the size of the garden. They were like, right.
Not in the box, Christ!
Come on. Be
Sideline,
sensible.
you dick.
Imagine there's just a big penalty spot in the middle. I'd love that. Right,
Still
Caicedo.
painted.
Moises Caicedo is a name that Romano talked about yesterday, and he said is a possibility for United. Not an easy one because Brighton want to keep him because they only signed him 1 year ago. When we could have had him, we rejected him for £4 million or whatever it was.
Now
Brighton
we've got
signed
the
him.
privilege of paying 10x that.
Yeah. Thoughts on Caicedo? Do you like him?
Yeah, I think he's a good player. And the sort of age kind of profile that I think is who we should be going for.
Yeah.
Those players that we can take to the next level and make them legends. Casemiro is going to be coming to Old Trafford. Every single time Fred passes in the ball, he's going to be going, I wish I was back at Real Madrid.
He knows Fred, though.
Oh, great.
Okay. Gakpo, thoughts?
Yeah, good player.
Okay, so this is from Romano as well. He said, remember always the name Gakpo for United because he's still on the list, but it's not something imminent.
Honestly, this list at the moment, bonkers.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it?
On my
Genuinely
block
mental.
list on Twitter.
Yeah, just the largest of scrolls. Wan-Bissaka, a new right-back, will arrive in case Wan-Bissaka leaves. United are still waiting for Palace's proposal. They want to let him go and bring in a new right-back. Do you think that's a good thing to do?
Yeah, fuck him off.
Yeah. Apparently
This is what we need to do. Look, do we believe in Wan-Bissaka? No, we don't.
No.
So why is he still here?
Great question.
Oh, speaking of which, I need to show you this.
Okay.
So,
It's not that picture of your...
nope.
I've seen that.
So I'm just sitting in a petrol station yesterday.
Just sitting in a petrol station like an absolute nutter.
And,
Were you there to get petrol?
Yeah.
Okay,
And then this gent, single on me, please.
Oh, wow.
Can we read that? I can't actually see if it's visible.
No, you need to turn your brightness down a touch more.
Touch more on the brightness. Can we see that?
Philip Jones.
Philip Jones, roofer.
See? He's already planning for his post-United career.
Do you know what? I'm sitting in there. I see Philip Jones, roofer, and then the guy goes, "Oi, keep the fucking faith stick."
Oh, nice. He knows.
And then he
all
went,
the time.
yeah,
as
and
well.
then he went, "I'm a better roofer than I'm a player."
That's good. That's very nice. Could you see Phil Jones going into that after he retires?
Can you see Phil Jones on the roof?
Not for long.
Phil Jones.
You get there and then... Oh, he's fallen off.
No. With his injury record, no.
Let's move on then. Pulisic. Yeah? Romano talked about Andy Mitten's article for The Athletic that we're interested in getting him on loan. On the player side, he would be open and tempted, but it's up to Chelsea. Apparently, they're slightly concerned that we're a rival of them, but not this season we're not, so they probably shouldn't worry about that. Also, Newcastle interested. He says there, what I'm told, Todd Burley wants to sell players for Pulisic. Todd Burley's profile is a permanent deal, otherwise he can stay at Chelsea. Do you like Pulisic? Would you want him at United? Would he improve us?
Don't like his injury record. Mm-hmm. Don't like his output in terms of goals and assists. Think he's a bit of eye candy. He's a good dribbler. I think he's not got enough substance. On loan, to back up what we've got, I think he's better than Alanga. On loan, I don't think there's a lot of risk on our side with with his injury record and stuff, and I think on loan would probably be okay. At a permanent deal, no.
No. Okay. Aubameyang. Romano's gone ham. This is how many people were linked with it. Aubameyang, that Romano's literally talking about all these players back to back. Apparently, he's only going to Chelsea. So there were some links to United. Rubbished it. Would you want him?
No.
No. Same here. And João Felix, finally. There he is. Look. Where is he? There. João Felix, a dream target for Man United. It will still remain a dream unless something crazy happens. United had direct contact with United, but they said, no way, the player stays here. Would you want him? Are we stupid for even looking at him?
Yeah. There's not a prayer. What was it, 130 million?
Well, that was the rumour, wasn't it?
I went to an Aston Martin garage once.
Did you?
It's about as realistic as us signing him was me buying a fucking car in there.
Yeah.
Just go for
even
a perv,
one of them little mini ones.
Yeah, just go for a perv, don't you? What actually are they like inside? Let's go and have a look. And the guy can smell you come in. He's like, these fucking wasters.
Yeah.
It's up in a van for starters.
Yeah, you got your aftershave from Londis. You aren't shopping in the Aston Martin garage.
Yeah.
Would you want him? I know it's obviously theoretical.
Is he better than what we've got? Yeah, his talent, 130 million.
Yeah.
No.
It would be mad if João Felix had had 250 million quid spent on him by the age of, 22? And also he's good, but he's
not that, is it?
He's not the age. 22.
It's getting to the point where you're a bit like Lukaku, where you're like, how many fucking clubs have you been rinsed at?
Yeah. Insane. Right, that's going to be all from us. We've been through everyone.
What's going on with Milinkovic-Savic? That's the only one I'm interested in.
Well, it's gone quiet. It's gone quiet since
that means
the
if
Casemiro
it's off
stuff's come out.
or it's just happened.
Yeah. Would you rather have him or Casemiro?
I think I'd rather have Milinkovic-Savic.
Really?
I think his style suits English football more.
But is he not a bit like a sort of Paul Pogba type player?
What?
Where he can do everything, but he's not a massive specialist at anything.
Oh no, I think he's a massive specialist at fucking people up.
He is, but I think we need
a little bit of in the fucking team.
I like a bit of that. I do like a bit of that. And he is a good player, but yeah, it seems as though it's him or Casemiro. I think he's the expensive one. We might get another one else with him. Who's another Rabiot that we could get? Someone who's cheap shit, but we'll get him anyway.
Stephen Ireland.
Good lad, let's get him in. I think Ryan Opper knows him. I'll give him a ring. Yeah. Right, that's going to be all from us. Thank you for joining. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button. It's also in the comments if you want to hit it there. Hit the notification bell as well, because we go live every single time there's breaking news. Like last night with Jim Radcliffe trying to buy Man United, we were live immediately. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Cheers for coming on, Steve. Who are we going to sign then? Steve's big prediction. Who will we sign before the end of the window?
Gakpo.
And?
No one.
Okay, that's all from us. Cheers, Steve, with your constant optimism. We've got transfer review coming out this weekend as well. So honestly, there's going to be about 40 people on the list.
This week, I said to Notch yesterday on Twitter, more O's and a box of fucking Cheerios. Yeah. I can't wait. Aubameyang, fuck out of here with that shit.
Casemiro's not a zero, though.
If I was to say someone, somewhere, maybe interviewing him some point soon.
You're interviewing Aubameyang, are you?
No. I was trying to deny it.
Oh, right. He's not.
So, I wonder what club he'll be at.
Interesting. Right, thanks very much. See you in a bit.